Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She is none other than Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend? How was your week?
Can't complain. It's still hot, but that's nothing new. So, just trying to stay in the air conditioning as much as possible, playing some video games. But yeah, other than that, can't really complain.
I too I've been playing the video game, staying in the air conditioning. What a life we live, where we could just
Yeah.
we're grown adults talking about staying in the air conditioning, not wanting to socialize, and just wanting to play video games.
I mean, when you have games like the Oblivion remaster and Fortnite and Skyrim and all of those, it's like, who needs to go talk to people?
Yeah,
That provide you hours of entertainment. Like, come on.
seriously, yeah, I'm in the middle of Red Dead Redemption 2, so I'm a cowboy. I'm very Hangman Page.
Yeah, live in the fantasy.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, there you go. But ladies and gentlemen, contrary to what you've been listening to, this is not a video game podcast. Shay and I discuss what is happening in the world of professional wrestling on this podcast. And this week, we have a wonderful show lined up because this week is a predictions episode where we're going to be giving our predictions for Sunday's Forbidden Door pay-per-view provided by AEW, happening from the O2 Arena in London. It's going to be a great show. They've almost sold it out. So I expect a lot of people there. It's going to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I think so. I know we've talked about it though in the past that these Forbidden Door shows are always very I wouldn't say odd. They're also just not very, in some cases, difficult to pick because looking at them on paper, you're like, no one's coming in out of AEW and taking somebody's title that's an AEW champion. So it's like some of the predictions here might be a little easy to predict, but there's some that might not be, but I'm so excited either way. It's always nice to see some new faces outside of the usuals we see in AEW and Ring of Honor. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about AEW is you can count on them to introduce you to something you've never seen before in professional wrestling, especially with this one being that it's sort of a collaborative effort, Forbidden Door, where you're going to see a lot of people from New Japan. You're going to see some people from CMLL, Stardom in some matches. So it's not just AEW centric. It's a collection of promotions working together, which is always a great thing in professional wrestling.
Yeah, when the companies work together, the fans are the ones that just end up winning in the end. So it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for it.
For sure, for sure. Now, this is the way this works. Just in case this is your first time listening to one of our predictions episodes, basically, Shay and I usually are always in lockstep with each other, which happens to bring some difficulty to the predictions because being that we're always on the same page, we're always end up tied. So the way we break the tie is if there so happens to be a tiebreaker that is needed, we predict what the finish is going to be for a certain match. It could be any match on the card. We just have to pick and choose which finish we think is likely best to happen to break the tiebreaker. But that only happens if there's a tiebreaker. I don't know if there is. It's like you said, looking at the card, we kind of are on the same wavelength with a lot of things, but you never know. There could be a slip up. So why don't we get into it? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, all right. Now, I'm reading off of Wikipedia just for, transparency purposes. And right now, as of right now, Wikipedia has 9 matches announced for the Forbidden Door card, but there most likely are going to be more matches that we're not going to be able to cover. If you're listening to this episode, it's most likely Wednesday. And AEW Dynamite, the go home episode for Forbidden Door is tonight if you're watching or listening to this on Wednesday. So expect maybe more matches to be announced. I know they like to announce the pre-show card, which we don't like to cover, but the pre-show card is always interesting, so you might want to check that out. But this is definitely an interesting card looking at it. So let's start it off. Let's start it off with the tag team titles. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, will either be facing the team of Brody King and Bandito or FTR. So this is kind of like a double prediction. first,
Yeah.
who do we think is going to end up facing the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door, and then who will be winning at Forbidden Door? So maybe this will be like an extra wrinkle in the predictions. As much as Brodito, as they like to be called, are fun to watch. I can't see a match not happening between the Hurt Syndicate and FTR. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we both love Brody, and him and Bandito have been fun, but it just it wouldn't really make sense. I mean, it would sure make sense for the whole good versus bad kind of thing, but I think the money's more with the Hurt Syndicate and FTR, so I would definitely have to agree with you that FTR is winning the tournament. Along with the match, though, I just it's already kind of a tough one to begin with because I feel like if it is indeed FTR, which I mean, it's probably a safe bet to say that it's going to be FTR in this match, you could easily see either one of them winning, and it wouldn't really be a bad thing
Right.
because I think the biggest problem we've had with the Hurt Syndicate's reign, it's not a bad reign before I even say this, don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. However, there's never really been a team up until potentially Sunday where it's like, oh, well, that's who they're facing. Please, they're not going to lose to them, of all people. Like, no offense to any of the teams they faced before, but they never really had a big challenge. I would say this is probably their biggest challenge, but I feel like it would be kind of counterproductive to, if you really want to legitimize Lashley and Benjamin's reign, having them immediately lose to the first real competition that they've faced for these titles, I think would be a little odd. I feel like you could always revisit FTR and Hurt Syndicates,
Mm.
so I think the Hurt Syndicate's going to retain these titles here, but I feel like FTR is definitely going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be Hurt Syndicate's first real test, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because like you said, all the other teams they've been facing, not necessarily a slight to them, but they've not been necessarily on the level of the Hurt Syndicate, except for what's going to happen now. No offense to Brodito, I just don't see them actually winning and beating FTR, which is the more polished tag team.
Yeah.
As far as the match, like I think the reason that the bad guy versus bad guy dynamic doesn't necessarily matter at this point is because the Hurt Syndicate are not really looked at as bad guys. Sure, they can play the heels, but they're so
Yeah.
cool. They're so cool that a lot of people end up rooting for them. And I think going up against the FTR, they're going to have a lot of people rooting for them too. I think the smart thing is probably hold off and I want to have the Hurt Syndicate win, even though that is not like what is. There's some drama surrounding the Hurt Syndicate and the fact that they're the tag team champions. It makes it seem like they don't want to lose to certain tag teams. But
Yeah.
if you're a fan analyzing this, you got to look at the other teams and you got to be like, what other teams are as cool as the Hurt Syndicate? You know?
Yeah. FTR is the closest, and that's it.
Yeah, FTR is the closest, and they've gotten a boost ever since they've aligned themselves with Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah.
But like no other team is really that cool and makes the tag team division seem very interesting besides the Hurt Syndicate. So I think that's why the Hurt Syndicate is more likely to carry on and retain the tag team titles, and hopefully they can figure out how to bolster this tag team division to bring some legitimate competition to the Hurt Syndicate because they're just running away with this thing.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword because it's like, yeah, the Hurt Syndicate are a fantastic team, but that also kind of pulls back the curtain and shines a light on the fact that, yeah, there's really nobody up on their levels. So yeah, they kind of need to do something, or else it's going to end up turning into, well, now what the fuck do they do? Because they've beaten everybody.
Yeah, and that's going to be the problem, is that there isn't really a lot of tag teams, so there's going to be a point where we're going to come up to the finish line in terms of tag teams and be like, well, they've beaten everybody, better get somebody from like CMLL or somewhere else, because, or yeah, like CMLL or somewhere else, or ROH, because there's not going to be enough tag teams for the Hurt Syndicate to face.
Yeah, exactly. You got to give them some type of competition, like something, anything.
Yeah, and then like I said, there's that drama surrounding the tag team titles, and the fact that they say that Hurt Syndicate are kind of difficult to work with in terms of coming up with who should maybe take the titles off of them. But then again, it's like the tag team division is very lackluster right now, and the only thing holding it up any interest is the Hurt Syndicate. So might want to keep it where the iron is hot, basically.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Yeah, yeah. So we're both already starting off together. We're both predicting the Hurt Syndicate to retain the AEW Tag Team Championships.
Yes.
All right, next up on the card for the AEW Unified Championship, we have Kazuchika Okada defending the title against Swerve Strickland. Now, I am looking forward to this match simply because I feel like it's going to be a great wrestling match. I feel like this has the potential to maybe steal the show and be one of the more talked about matches of the night. As we always do with Okada matches, we go into this thinking, are we going to see something out of Okada that we haven't seen since he has come to AEW? A little bit of that New Japan fire, a little bit of that ferocity and legendary status, because I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like Okada's just been coasting.
Yeah, he's been phoning it in, and I think a lot of people are realizing that, because just look at the last few like title matches or just matches he's had on like these big pay-per-views, and the crowd has not been into it at all because it takes so goddamn long for the action to actually get going. Which I get it, but it's also just like, dude, come on, you got to give him something, because yeah, if you're just a casual AEW fan and didn't see how Okada was before, you'd just be like, oh, okay, so that's him. Like, okay, well, it didn't really live up to the hype. But then if you have like the hardcore fans that know what Okada's capable of, it's like you're chomping at the bit a little bit, going, dude, can you please just give us something else? Give us like an extra level, something. And he better do it in this match, because if not, Swerve's gonna mop the floor with him. Maybe not so much win the title, but he's just gonna run circles around him, because Swerve is not so much a slow, methodical, takes you 20 minutes to get to high gear kind of like guy in a match. Like, he's pretty quick, starts like 0 to 60, goes pretty quick, so it's like you're gonna have to keep pace with him, and if not, it's not gonna look good at all. But I could see Okada rising to the occasion for this one, hopefully anyway. But as far as the match goes, I feel like this is Okada's, like, I guess, really first real test as the unified champion, if I remember correctly. I don't think he's defended that title yet, has he? I think Swerve was the first one.
Yeah, because I mean, well, yeah, before that he was the Continental Champion, but that belt really didn't mean anything, as he rarely defended that belt.
Yeah, so I feel like now that he has the unified title, I feel like you kind of have to start him off hot, and if you beat somebody like Swerve, that's a really big deal no matter who you are. So I feel like if you want that title legitimized right away, you have to have Okada retain, because it'd be kind of ridiculous just to have him win that, have him beat Kenny Omega, unify the titles, just to turn around and lose them to Swerve on his first defense. So I feel like you got to give it to Okada at least this time, I think anyway.
Right, yeah, you don't want to make it seem like you're playing hot potato with any of the titles on the card. I do agree with you. I feel like Swerve is going to be this person to maybe get a little bit out of Okada that nobody else besides Kenny Omega has been able to get. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to take point in this match, because like you say, there are two differentiating styles. Okada is more of a methodical, slow pace, kind of plodding style. I would equate him to someone like a Randy Randy Orton, maybe.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
Yeah.
if you're not familiar with Okada's game, it's like you said, Swerve Strickland is a 0 to 60. He likes to move very quickly, pace his moves together, piece them together very fluidly. So it's going to be interesting to see who takes control of this match and who kind of dictates the pace of how things go. I do agree with you. I feel like they don't want to play hot potato with this tag, and I do feel like maybe something from the Don Callis family might play a factor in this match, whether it be Don Callis himself, maybe Lance Archer on the outside. I feel like they might play a part in some shenanigans that may happen. I just wish there was I just wish there was more from Okada. You know, I really was excited for him to come to AEW because I knew that there wouldn't be any shackles placed on him. They wouldn't try to put him into a gimmick or try to make him the funny guy. He just kind of flowed into being the funny guy. But I feel like we've lost track of like who Okada really is, you know, and now he's just the guy that's just running around calling everybody a bitch.
Yeah, which was funny for a little bit, and now it's just like, okay, cool. I don't even think the fans really react to it much anymore because it's just like, okay, well, he's just gonna go ahead and say it, and it's again, you look at him and he's like, this is supposed to be the Rainmaker from New Japan, considered at one time one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best wrestler in the world, and this is what he is now. Like, oh, okay, I guess. So, hopefully Swerve's up to the challenge, but if anybody would be, it would be him.
For sure. I agree with you. It is a little weird, like with the way they're going about Okada. I feel like what it is too much sort of placating to the fans. Like, oh, the fans thought that this was hilarious. Let's run it into the ground. You know,
that's AEW's biggest problem.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. Like they can't not milk something dry. They can't let it like rest. They have to go with the funny spot. So it's just really weird. As far as like who I think is going to win, I'm pretty much in lockstep with you on this one. I am also going with Okada because I don't see AEW wanting to play hot potato with this unified championship. It's all a matter if they want to make it important, if they want to give it a legitimate reign, because like I said about the Continental Championship that Okada held before they unified it with the International Championship, Okada barely did anything with that title. Barely did anything, and it's not his fault. It's not like he's making the decisions, I don't think, but it's like, it's an issue with AEW. Like, I'm looking at this card, and 7 out of the 9 matches that are listed are for championship titles. Now, is that an indication that maybe there are too many titles in AEW? Like,
I mean, yeah.
You got the unified title, now they got rid of the international title, so you don't have to worry about that. But like there's, you know, the trios championships, the tag team championships. Now you're also having on the card an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. It's like a lot of championships are on the line for this pay-per-view. So a lot of big time matches. And I feel like that's not necessarily a problem, but it's definitely an issue in terms of putting together the card and how to pace these matches, because everything is supposed to be important. I mean, we just talked about the tag team titles on the line. Now we're talking about the unified championship. This is Okada's first defense of the unified championship. Another reason why I don't see him losing. Again, like you said, it wouldn't make sense for him to lose in his first title defense of the unified championship. That's why we're both going with Kazuchika Okada to defeat Swerve Strickland for the unified championship.
Yes.
All right. Moving on, for the women's world championship, we have Timeless Toni Storm defending the title against Athena, who is the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. And now that championship is not on the line, but that does hold some significance because Athena has been championship for Ring of Honor for 700, 800 days. So she's on a hot streak. She's got the most momentum you can have going into a championship match, being that she's already a world champion for another promotion and she's held that belt for 700, 800 days, something crazy like that, you know. And this is going to be, I feel like, a really fun wrestling match. And you want to talk about championship lineage and things like that, like we talked about in the last match. Timeless Toni Storm is really elevating the AEW Women's World Championship.
Yeah, which is why this is such a difficult one to pick, because do you stop that momentum with Toni, or do you stop that momentum with Athena? Because, yeah, I mean, like, I guess if you'd have Athena lose, it wouldn't be this, like, big monumental moment, because let's remember, she technically already lost to Mercedes in the Eliminator tournament.
Right.
Which we said we didn't know why that was a second round match, because I could have easily, pinned the finals, but clearly that was not the case. But it's not like she's invincible. She can definitely lose. And I mean, she still has the Ring of Honor title, so even if she loses this match, she's not gonna, I don't think it's really gonna hurt her too much, because you're just gonna have her featured more on AEW TV. Oh no, what a problem to have, like, please. But if you have Toni lose, I feel like you said, she's elevating that title even more so than she did the first time she had it. So, well, second time, third time? How many times has she had it? I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think the 3 other times she's had it.
Okay, so the third time. This most previous time that she's had it, we thought that was like the best she could do, but then when she got it back, it was like, oh wow, she's got a whole other level that we didn't even realize. Do we really want to stop that then in its tracks just for that? But so yeah, it's almost a matter of even if you'd have Toni lose, it's not like she would get damaged by it, because Toni's just Toni. She could be fantastic with or without a title, so it's not like she necessarily needs it. But how well will the championship and the division as a whole be if she loses it? Because I feel like she elevates everyone around her. Not to say that Athena wouldn't do the same, but Toni Storm's Toni Storm. Like, you can't replicate her. So I feel like, and it's tough too, because we have to remember that Athena's the one that activated her contract. You don't want to say it, but it's pretty much what it is. The Money in the Bank briefcase, essentially. Like, she cashed it in for this match, which I feel like the way that they've handled these is kind of odd to me, because I feel like this was kind of like AEW's version of Money in the Bank, but I guess they just didn't want it to pretty much be so spot on that, oh, we had to wait till the most opportune time to just show up and make a match, because the loyalists would have had a field day with that. So I get that that's what they had to do. But the fact that you put them both on the same night is just odd to me, because what happens if both of them lose? What if Athena loses and MJF loses? Which those are both very real possibilities. And it's just like, okay, well then what the hell was the point of them having those contracts then? Just because? Because, like, for Athena, did you want the hometown, like, big, like, Texas moment? And for MJF, was it just because nobody else came anywhere close to having the potential to win that thing? Like, it's just so weird. But I'm still excited for this match, though. I think it's going to be very good. It's going to be fun to see those two play off of each other, because even what we've seen so far is just very entertaining. I feel like, I think the biggest problem with me is that Athena has been so damn good in Ring of Honor, and no one's been seeing it because nobody watches Ring of Honor in AEW. And it's like, I get that AEW tries to, like, say, like, hey, we have them too, don't forget about them, but you can't really access Ring of Honor stuff as easily as you can with AEW stuff. So Athena's not really been in the public eye of AEW fans for a very long time yet. I feel like she's just scratched the surface of what she could do on national TV like this.
Right.
So I feel like maybe give her a little bit more time and then have her win the title. So I feel like maybe just barely, but still, I think Tony's going to retain the title just for now.
Interesting, interesting. I do think that maybe it's time to make Athena a more known entity in AEW rather than have her just working Ring of Honor and being the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. I know she's had this legendary title reign, but all things must come to an end. So I would like to see her eventually drop the Ring of Honor title and move on to be something in AEW on a permanent fixture, because I think her and Billy Starks can actually bolster this division, which is a pretty good division. This is not like the problem that the tag team division is having. There are some great women in this women's division that can really wrestle. So like you said, if Tony Storm wins, there's also a path you can go. You can go with Tekla. You can go with Queen Aminata. You can go with Julia Hart. You can go with Sky Blue. You can go with Alex Windsor, who's been aligned with Tony Storm, and vice versa. If Athena was to win, there's still avenues that you can go. That's kind of what makes it difficult to necessarily pick the winner. I think AEW's biggest problem is sometimes it's easier to just do the easy thing. It's better to take the easy route than to make things over convoluted and just way more difficult and way more just messy, you know? So I think the smart, logical thing is to keep the title on Tony Storm, who's actually elevated the title, and then figure out what to do with Athena, because like you said, in AEW's eyes, Athena losing is not going to be a big deal. It's not like we're watching a Ring of Honor pay-per-view and she lost her Ring of Honor championship on pay-per-view. Then we could be like, whoa, that's a big deal. But that's not the case here. So I think that the loss is not going to hurt Athena, but I would love to see more of Athena in AEW, because this is like her first time having the spotlight on her, and she's been killing it. So imagine what it would be like if it was on a permanent basis.
Yeah, and how wild has it that it's been this long? She's had to wait and sit and watch in the wings to finally get the spotlight. But you know what? I'm just glad it's finally happening, because she's definitely rising to the occasion right now.
For sure, for sure. So on this match for the AEW Women's World Championship, both Shay and I predict that Timeless Tony Storm will be retaining her AEW Women's World Championship. So hopefully that is the situation that is happening. Now, this is an interesting match because it is a four-way match for the AEW TBS Championship, where we're going to have 3 out of 4 women are going to be coming from different promotions. Mercedes Moné will be defending the title against Alex Windsor, Persephone, and a person to yet to be determined from Stardom. Now this is going to be interesting because Alex Windsor has been killing it. I've been a big fan of her ever since I've seen her on AEW. Every time she's in the ring, I'm like, wow, she's really, really great. I haven't seen anything from Persephone. I feel like a horrible wrestling fan. I feel like I should, but I haven't. But apparently she is very, very good. And the fact that she is bilingual really helps her star power. And I'm interested in seeing who they're going to pick from Stardom to round out this Fatal 4-Way. I hope that Mercedes Moné can keep up, because she might get outclassed here. I don't think she's gonna lose. I don't see her losing the title, but now she's got 3 other women to kind of worry about outshining her in the match.
Yeah, that's I'm glad we're on the same page there too, because Alex Windsor's great, so's Persephone, and I'm sure whoever they're gonna pick from Stardom's great, but why would you have Mercedes lose during this match of all matches? So I feel like it's going to be one of those where she just barely wins. Like, she'll scrape by with the skin of her teeth, but for the fact of you're going to have 3 other world-class women to oppose, like, I hope Mercedes can keep up, but I feel like these are the kind of matches she lives for, so I feel like she's going to rise to the occasion on this one, because it's when the lights shine the brightest, she shows up, and I feel like this isn't going to be an exception. I'm interested to see who's coming in from Stardom, though. I don't really think I've heard anybody specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard any rumors going around, but like I said, it's Stardom, so pretty much anybody you could bring in and insert into that match, and it's going to be a great match regardless. It's going to be very interesting to see the clashing of styles, but yeah, there's just no way Mercedes is winning or losing just yet. She's got to hold on to that title at least a little bit longer.
Yeah, and
Because why not?
I'm always interested in how you take these four women from four different backgrounds. How are they going to communicate with each other in the ring to make sure everything works together fluidly?
A lot of practice. A lot of practice beforehand, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're probably gonna have to go over a lot of spots before the match, but I always just find that very interesting. This could be a match that kind of wows people if they can keep it from being clunky, and it's kind of hard because again, it's four people in one match. It's kind of hard to avoid the clunkiness, but I hope they can get it done. I also feel like Mercedes Moné is coming out of the winner. It's just kind of easy. Alex Windsor's still pretty new. She would be the only one I would suspect that they would take the belt off of Moné and put on, because she works for AEW. I don't see someone from CMLL or Stardom becoming the TBS champion and having to work the AEW schedule with their schedule that they already have. So Alex Windsor would be the only one that I could see that happening, where she can be the new TBS champion, but I don't see that happening. I think Mercedes Moné is going to hang on to the TBS championship and still be considered Mercedes Moné, A Belts Moné, basically.
Yeah. And there might be more. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised. She might get to 10.
Yeah, she might find some obscure country that has like one wrestling promotion and try to take their title too.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
the belt collector.
Yeah, she's the new belt collector. She definitely is in the running, I would say, for AEW Female Wrestler of the Year, because of she's back. For me, I feel like she's back to being who she should be. She's been putting in a lot of effort, putting in a lot of work. Doesn't look like she's been phoning it in. So I would definitely put her in the running for Women's Wrestler of the Year for AEW side halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year.
Yeah, I completely agree. We were very critical of her when she first came into AEW, because it was very apparent that she was phoning it in more often than she wasn't, but then something just finally clicked, and she started to, actually put the effort in, and yeah, this is the Mercedes Moné we've been waiting to see, so I'm glad that we finally got her, and hopefully this match is not going to be any exception.
Right. For sure. So we both have Mercedes Moné winning and retaining the TBS championship in the four-way match against Alex Windsor, Persephone, and someone yet to be determined from Stardom in the match. Now, moving on, we have a match for the AEW TNT championship, where champion Kyle Fletcher will have his first defense against New Japan Pro Wrestling's Hiromu Takahashi. Now, this one, in terms of predictions, should be very easy. I don't think we both would say that Kyle Fletcher is not going to come away with the win and retaining the championship, because honestly, I don't see Hiromu Takahashi pulling double duty and going from Japan and working the States and whatever they want him to do as potentially the AEW TNT champion. Kyle Fletcher just won the belt from Dustin Rhodes. He was supposed to be the champion. We all figured he would be crowned the champion, and finally it is his. I do think that this is going to be a great match, because I am a fan of Takahashi. I think he's wonderful. I think he's a great, fantastic professional wrestler. So I do think that this is going to be a great match. Not necessarily a clashing of the styles, but a clashing of two hungry, up-and-coming young talents, and you have the TNT championship on the line. They might show out and steal the show.
They might. I wouldn't put it past them, but yeah, the prediction's very easy, because I think that's, like we said, the only issue we ever have with the Forbidden Door kind of format for a pay-per-view is that if you have an AEW title on the line, there's a 99.9% chance that you're not going to have somebody from AEW drop it to somebody from New Japan or CMLL or Stardom or whatever. So the predictions are a little easy for some of these, but yeah, I'm still excited for this match. Like you said, you got two up-and-comers who are going to be hungry to prove themselves on a massive ass stage, as Forbidden Door is. You said it's almost sold out, so they're going to show up, they're going to show out, but yeah, you're not gonna have Kyle lose it right after he won it, even though, like we argued, he should have won it at All In. You know, hey, you had to get the big hometown moment, I guess. But I'm glad that the belt's rightfully around Kyle's waist, and yeah, he's not dropping that anytime soon. Like anytime soon.
Yeah, I would actually book it that way, where he goes on this monumental run where he doesn't lose the belt for the next 3 to 4 years or something like that. Make it
Yeah,
like
wouldn't
a
that be something?
yeah, make it like a legendary run and have him just go crazy as the champion, just defeating everybody, some by the skin of his teeth, because again, he is a bad guy. He is aligned with the Don Callis family. They like to win by nefarious means, but have him do it that way, and that would really solidify him as an uppercomer that's kind of destined to be a world champion wherever he lands.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Just have another like Athena style run. And if anybody could do it, it would be Kyle. And you could do plenty of twists and turns in that story too. Of like, he finally realizes he doesn't need the Cal's family anymore because I'm just that good. I don't need anybody else's help, and you've been, dragging me down. Blah blah blah. I mean, that could end up happening for all we know anyway. But yeah, you got to keep that on him for quite a while because inevitably he's going to win a world title, but you got to give him something worth some substance beforehand. So yeah, there's no way he's losing this belt at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, for sure, and it's one of those things that it'll elevate the TNT championship for the next person to come in and be like, wow,
Yeah.
they defeated Kyle Fletcher for this belt, and this could be the workhorse title for AEW to show like we take this title seriously, and this is who we deem as maybe the next up and comer to be the big star.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could have swore I thought that was what originally the TNT title was actually for. So if you want to put it on a workhorse, put it on a guy like Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So we both have Kyle Fletcher winning and retaining the AEW TNT Championship against Hiromu Takahashi from New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that match, and I'm also looking forward to this match. It is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be a technical masterpiece. Zack Sabre Jr. will be defending the title against Nigel McGuinness, who is going to have Danny Garcia in his corner. Nigel McGuinness, not yet done. There's still some gas left in the tank for Nigel McGuinness, and he's going up against probably the best technical wrestler on the planet right now, and Zack Sabre Jr., both from the UK, both from England. This is going to be a lot of fun for the English crowd.
Oh yeah, like I think this kind of, at least for me, is kind of the reverse of what we just talked about with the Forbidden Door format. Is AEW titles are most likely not going to go into the hands of somebody outside of AEW, so on the flip side, IWGP titles probably aren't going to be going AEW wrestlers either, as cool as that would be, though, because like Nigel's great. Again, one of the best technical wrestlers of all time. However, how much does he have left? And it just wouldn't make sense for him to hold, I don't know, the biggest title of with IWGP. So you think you might just want to keep it over in New Japan, obviously, and why would you take it off a guy like Zack Sabre Jr.? Like, that's just silly. But no, this match is going to be fun. If you guys don't worry about the big flips and the tricks and the aerial acrobatics and whatever, and just want a good old-fashioned like wrestling match, this is going to be the one to pay attention to, because you said it better. You couldn't have said it better than you did. Two of the best technical wrestlers ever. So you put them in a match, and this is like the sneaky dream match that people should be getting excited about, and rightfully so. But yeah, this one is going to be so much fun to watch, and I cannot wait. It's probably one of my the one I'm most hyped for, or one of the ones I'm most hyped for going into Forbidden Door. for sure.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in seeing somebody getting twisted up into a pretzel. I would have to agree with you. I don't think Nigel McGuinness has the ability to carry on the IWGP Championship and work that schedule for New Japan. So I don't think Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be losing this match. However, I don't think that is the focus of this match. I think the focus of this match is probably going to be just the fact that it's a technical match between two technical masterclass athletes like Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness, but we're both going for Zack Sabre Jr. to win and retain the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Nigel McGuinness. That should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
Me too. I can't wait to see all the pretzels.
Yeah, all the pretzels for sure. All right, now moving on, we have a tag team match. This is one of only two matches that is not for a title. It is a tag team match. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage reunite to take on Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. This might be one of the ones, I don't know if we'll have differing opinions, but this one's kind of hard to predict because it doesn't fall into that Forbidden Door format.
Yeah, and I feel like you can kind of see it going either way. It's just a matter of, do they actually want to prolong this or not? Because I feel like they could. I feel like the easiest way out is to just have Copeland and Christian Cage win because, oh, they're finally together and that's that. It's just like, however, you're kind of sacrificing Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian at the same time, which maybe not so much the best idea because why would you have to have the old timers beat up on the up and comers? Because just for the sake of story, I guess, which unfortunately, from what we've heard and some rumors, that would probably seem to be the case of one Adam Copeland always wanting to kind of get one over on everybody, but I digress. I feel like, though, just having having Copeland and Cage win is just too easy because then what do you do from there? Like, there's no adversity, there's no nothing. It's just this pesky little like group like made us mad and now we squashed them and now that's it. And it's just like, okay, well, what did the rest of them do? Like, you want Nick Wayne to be a future star of your company, you have to have him have big moments. So I feel like what bigger moment than beating some people like Adam Copeland and Christian Cage? It's just a matter of if AEW is going to actually let that happen, though. That's the problem, because I feel like there's just could be more to the reunion than what we've seen so far. I feel like we can build off it a little more.
Right.
And I feel like how I could see it happening maybe is that like Kip Sabian or Nick Wayne goes to hit their finisher on Christian Cage and Copeland like eats it, like sacrifices himself to save Christian. Yeah, they end up losing, but then Christian realizes, oh, you were my friend all this time, even though I was acting like a total dickhead. So maybe that might bring them closer together again. I'm kind of hoping on it because, again, just having them win is just way too easy. So I guess I'll just go out on the limb and say Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne just for the sake of advancing the story just a little bit instead of taking the easy way out.
Yeah, I would do that too. I wouldn't take the easy way out with this one. I would try to advance the story. The way I would try to advance the story is maybe because the thing is, we know that Adam Copeland is down for this reunion. He wants this reunion to happen. He wants he and Christian Cage to be on the same page. He wants everybody to be copacetic with each other. But we haven't heard anything really from Christian Cage. You know, we just see that he shows up, but we really don't know his true intentions. I don't necessarily think that there's some shenanigans or something nefarious is going to happen. The way I see it is, everybody's going to have their doubts about Christian, and Christian's going to be determined to prove people wrong, but that's also going to be his downfall. He's going to inadvertently hit Copeland with the move, or something's going to happen that's going to allow Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne to pick up the win, because like you said, it advances the storyline, it elevates Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian, and it makes us wonder, hey, did Christian really mean that, or was that by accident? Is he really trying to work this out with Adam Copeland? And then we can move on to Adam Copeland, Christian Cage versus FTR, which I think should be the focal point. That's the confusing part about this match is Adam Copeland's been having these issues with FTR, and Christian has been having these issues with Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. So I guess we're going to take care of Christian's problem first and then worry about Adam Copeland's problem later.
I guess, which is a welcome change, because usually it's the other way around. So I mean, I guess you gotta take care of one problem to get to the other, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised, but not really surprised that we went in the same route with this one. But
yeah,
are we really surprised though?
Nah, I don't think that we're surprised. I want them to go this way either way, whether it's your prediction or mine, whichever way it goes out, because I really want them to do the smart thing and say, hey, we can actually elevate Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian and not sacrifice them and make it seem like, oh, that they're just going to be like, everybody expects them to lose, you know?
Yeah,
Nobody,
exactly, and it'd be a good surprise if they won.
Right,
Take
exactly.
people off guard.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody is expecting Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian to win, but there's a way that you can make it happen where it's logical, it makes sense, and you can elevate two storylines in one. You can elevate the tag team of Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian, make them, maybe they can, it's kind of funny if you put it on paper, but Nick Wayne, Kip Sabian, Hurt Syndicate for the AEW tag team titles. It sounds funny on paper, but it still can be done, and it would make the Hurt Syndicate look like the cool tag team rather than the bad guy heel tag team, and that would fall on Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. Again, this is all about elevating and moving on and having a pathway forward, not just throwing whatever sticks to the wall and going with that.
Yeah, exactly. Just sometimes easy is not always the best, guys.
Yeah.
Please pay attention.
For sure. So we're both in line with Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian pulling off the upset and defeating Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Again, it's not a situation where they're going to lose, maybe, I wouldn't say necessarily clean, but I feel like something wishy-washy is going to happen where we're going to see that maybe Christian Cage and Adam Copeland in terms of a tag team are a little rusty. They haven't been teaming. They haven't had a match together in, I would say, like a decade?
It's been a minute.
It's been a while, so maybe they're a little bit rusty, and AEW can play upon that and make an angle out of it and make things way more interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
All right, now we have two big matches to end out the pay-per-view so far on paper. First off, for the AEW World Championship, we have Hangman Page defending the title against Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who enacted his contract that he won in the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal to face Hangman. Hangman kind of goaded him because what MJF wanted to do, and this was kind of smart, I'm not gonna lie, this was smart. What MJF wanted to do was have Hangman give him a match without having to use the contract, so that way if he lost that match, he would still have the contract in his back pocket, and maybe further down the line, or maybe right after, could have been like, we're not done yet. But Hangman knew that he can get under the skin of MJF and make him just tweak the fuck out, which basically he did. He did, and he goaded him into signing that contract and putting that contract into action for the AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door. Now this one is kind of different. I mean, you can go either way. I wouldn't go away from Hangman Page. I think Hangman Page is the poster boy for AEW. He's the perfect champion. So I would keep the belt on Hangman Page. How you do that is very interesting. I probably would just have him beat MJF clean because I don't think that would hurt MJF.
No, I just hate the fact that you had both contracts like activated on the same show, and there is probably a good possibility that both of them are just going to lose.
Right.
So it's almost just like, what the hell was the whole point of all of that? But that's a whole other mess for another day. But yeah, I agree. You can't have that big payoff to the whole Death Riders thing and having Hangman overcome all the odds, just have him to turn around and lose to MJF, because that just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. So yeah, you have to give it to Hangman. Could he beat him clean? Yes. Could the Hurt Syndicate get involved? Possibly, maybe. But I feel like they don't really need to. Maybe they could come out and like gloat afterwards, possibly. But regardless of one way or another, yeah, Hangman's not losing that belt, not yet, because that just would be the like biggest like letdown after that story that they had built up to all, and it's just, you can't have him lose yet.
Right,
Not even
right.
close.
Yeah, and now MJF doesn't have the backup of the Hurt Syndicate because they they gave him the boot out of the group, so he's kind of on his own in that sense, and he's kind of has the deck stacked against him in that sense. He is, all of his clauses, all the things he wanted to do to make sure he gets back the World Heavyweight Championship have not been working out. He wanted to have the Hurt Syndicate in his back pocket, thinking they would help him get the World Heavyweight Championship back, and they kicked him out of the group. He wanted to hold on to the contract and make sure he didn't sign it and use it as a ploy in case he needed a backup plan, and that didn't work out right. This is not going well for MJF, and I don't think it's going to go well for him at the pay-per-view. I think we're both correct in having both Hangman Page winning the match and retaining the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
All right. Now, this match, I'm not saying it's going to main event the pay-per-view. Going to be quite difficult to see if this match or the championship match main events the pay-per-view, but it's very interesting. It is a lights-out steel cage match where we're going to have Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay take on Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, Matt and Nick Jackson, and Gabe Kidd. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When they announced Hiroshi Tanahashi, I was just like, I don't care about this match.
Just lost it.
I didn't care about this match at all, for because I don't see the purpose in having Hiroshi Tanahashi, who barely has any kneecaps, having him out there in not only a wrestling match, but having him out there in a steel cage match.
Yeah.
That just sounds crazy.
Yeah, why not?
And like the Death Riders, Gabe Kidd, the Young Bucks, like there's a lot of this in this match that I just don't care about.
Yeah. It had potential. I could tell you that. It had some potential, but yeah, it's just kind of, yeah. I mean, it's going to be painful to watch, I can tell you that. I feel like Moxley's going to bleed within the first, like, 5 minutes of the paper of the match, because why wouldn't he? Darby's going to probably do something stupid, because why wouldn't he? Tanahashi's going to do something that we're going to be like, well, there goes his non-existent kneecaps, any ligament is still in his knees are gone. Ospreay will probably do something stupid that we're just like, dude, you just came back after getting hurt. Please, let's not do that again.
I feel like Ospreay didn't even take time off.
No, because that's when he said he was hurt, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be back by Forbidden Door. I'm like, why though?
And the thing is, he said himself he has like 2 herniated discs.
Yeah, like that's more than a month or 2 that you need off. You need several months off, but clearly you're not going to tell him no. And clearly Tony Khan wasn't going to be convinced otherwise, I guess. So here we are. But I feel like you can't have the Death Riders win again. Like, if Hangman beating Moxley for the title was like the beginning of the end for the Death Riders, what the hell would it would make no sense to have them win this. Like, it wouldn't, because if you're supposed to slowly have them start to die, having them win a big match like this is not going to really, like, say that that's the case. So I feel like, I don't know, you just got to give it to the good guys for once, because I feel like the Death Riders have just been kind of, unfortunately, just all over the place for too long at this rate. But yeah, just give it to the good guys, please, because
Yeah.
we don't need to see the Death Riders win anymore. Well, especially like with the Young Bucks being there too, they're kind of, they're there. They're not really, doing so hot right now. So what good would it be to have them win? Like, I mean, granted, that's just like part of the team, but they're going through it, like really going through it. They have like shit merchandise. They don't even know what their names are anymore. They don't even have like the right entrances anymore. So why would you have them go through a little bit of that just to have them turn around and win a match? So I feel like you might want to have the bad luck continue. So just by proxy, you have to have everybody else lose on, the bad guys. So yeah, just give it to the good guys, because it just doesn't make sense to have the bad guys win, at least in this one.
I think another reason I'm not a fan of this match is how this match came together. This match clearly shows that Tony Khan necessarily isn't a booker, but he's more so a matchmaker, because out of nowhere, like, this match deserves to have a story put behind it, an angle put behind it. Out of nowhere, we just get announced Hiroshi Tanahashi's in it, and also Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega. At least with Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, you could have made a story out of it. Like, have them show up beforehand or something, make a run in to make a save, and then say they're going to be a part of the match. Have them do a run in, close to the end of Dynamite tonight. That'll be the go home show, and then have them be announced as members. Like, they didn't even do anything. They just said, oh yeah, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi are in it. Like, that's it.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's all they gave us. So it's just like,
yeah, it's a bit of a it was a letdown.
Yeah, like, this just proves that Tony Khan is more of a matchmaker. Let's just make some funky ass match, and like, they'll eat it up because they're sickos, And
and the worst part is some will. Like, that's the worst part.
Yeah, like, and it's just like, man, you could have easily put an angle behind this, do something to anything to make more sense, to have Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega in this match. Kenny Omega, who had a match against Okada at the last pay-per-view, didn't get the win, hasn't been seen since the pay-per-view, but then all of a sudden is in this big lights out steel cage match.
Yeah.
And like, how is a lights out steel cage match different from a regular steel cage match?
Yeah, or blood and guts.
Yeah, or blood and guts. Like, is this gonna be for pinfall submission only, or can you escape the cage? Like, are all 10 people gonna be in the ring at the same time? Like, I would have much rather them just made this a blood and guts match, which would have been a War Games match. But
they would have at least known what we were getting ourselves into, not just, I don't know what any of this means, I just know that it's going to be chaos.
Right.
And that's about it. That's literally it.
Potentially have 10 men in the ring at one time for a steel cage match, no outside ability to go outside or do anything like that. That's crazy.
That's going to be a pain in the ass to pay attention to. Like, you're not going to know what the hell to look at. It's why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I as soon as they said Hiroshi Tanahashi, I'm like, who wants to see Tanahashi? He can't bend his knees when he runs the ropes. He runs the ropes like he's got a dump like in his pants. Like, it's bad. It's bad.
It's not good.
It is not good. There's nobody on this planet that can tell me that Hiroshi Tanahashi can still get the job done. And these crazy ass people are gonna make him do a high fly flow from the top of the cage and completely blow out his kneecaps. I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen.
It's something dumb's gonna happen. Multiple dumb things are gonna happen.
Multiple
It's
dumb things are gonna happen. I feel like since there's like so many predictions you can make just from this match, like Moxley's gonna bleed within the first 5 minutes. Like it's just like
it's bad.
Osprey's gonna jump off the cage and completely miss, or something like that.
Oh no.
It's just. Oh my god, this match. But again, I am going with Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and everybody else in this damn match to win. I'm going with Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, which we really haven't talked about. This is going to be Darby Allin's first match back since he left to go climb Mount Everest. He's itching to do something stupid because he hasn't been in a wrestling match for a very long time. So expect Darby Allin to do something stupid, but I'm going with Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay to win this lights out steel cage match. What about you?
That was a lot to go through. Oh my god. I don't know how you did that all in one breath. I'm just gonna go Team Good Guys.
Team Good Guys.
That's easy enough.
There you go, Team Good Guys. Now here's the thing, like we said in the beginning of this episode, there was a good chance that Shay and I would equally choose the same outcome for each match, and that's exactly what happened going down the line. For the tag team titles, we have the Hurt Syndicate winning. To retain the Unified Championship, we have Okada winning. To retain the AEW Women's Championship, we have Toni Storm winning. To retain the TBS Championship, we have Mercedes Moné. And to retain the TNT Championship, we have Kyle Fletcher winning. Zack Sabre Jr. retains the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian pull off the big upset. I think that's our surprise pick, is that they're going to pull off the big upset against Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Hangman Page retains the AEW World Title. And the Good Guys, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay defeat Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd in a lights out steel cage match. Now it is time to figure out how we're gonna break this tie.
Take a breath, because I think you needed it. That was a lot.
Eat your heart out, Excalibur.
Literally, and we all understood to say every single word you said too, so that was even better.
A lot of practice. I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, practice makes perfect. All right, so let's see here. So, you know what? I'm gonna just go for my gut pick on this one. I'm gonna go for the unified title between Okada and Swerve. The Don Callis family's getting involved, and they're going to cost Swerve that title. Like, we already know Okada's winning because there's just no point for him to lose already. And he's already aligned with the Don Callis family, so I feel like it's almost just a matter of time in that match before somebody shows up. I don't know if it's going to be Lance Archer, I don't know if it's going to be Callis, one of them, all of them, who knows, but yeah, the Don Callis family's costed Swerve that title.
Don Callis family interference. I have it written down here, so there is no collusion. There is no there is no shenanigans, nothing like that. You hear it first. The tiebreaker coming from Shay is that during the Unified Championship match, there will be an interference from the Don Callis family. My prediction to break this tie goes for the TBS Championship, and I believe that Mercedes Moné is going to win by a roll-up.
Oh, that'd be a smart one too. I mean, out of that one, she's gonna have to barely make it out of there alive, so that's a good pick.
I think that's what's gonna be the end of the match. It's gonna be Mercedes Moné sneaking in a roll-up win because she can't hit her Monet maker on just one person and not expect the pinfall to get broken up. So I feel like she's gonna slide in there and she's gonna steal a victory out from under them and retain her TBS championship.
Now that you've written that down and it's official, you know what's going to make me laugh if it actually does happen? It's going to kill me if one of the other three hits their finisher and she just comes in and like throws it out of the ring and wins that way. Like you are going to be so pissed.
Oh man. Well, no, as long as she gets the roll up win, that's all.
Yeah, there might not be a roll up.
And that's all that matters. As long as it's a backslide, a crucifix pin, a mahi straw cradle, as long as it's not a standard,
That's what I'm saying. I'll laugh if that happens. Like they hit their finisher, she chucks them out. I know what you're doing. You're trying to like cover your bases. I just find it so. No, go ahead.
No. I know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to catch me as some trap. But I know, don't worry. I'll be honest and I'll call it right down the middle. If it's a roll up, it's a roll up. If it's a flat back pin, I'll call it honestly right down the middle. You don't have to worry about me being the bad guy here.
Okay, yeah. Tell me that again in the DMs when this pay-per-view is going on, because I would say you're a bit of a liar on that one.
Now when I know a bunch of people are going to be watching this pay-per-view and they're going to call me out on it.
Yeah, probably Mike especially will be the first one to call you out immediately.
Oh, for sure. For sure. The shit stirrer that Mike is.
Yeah. Mike's got my back on that one, but he could also stab me in the back too. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Well, this is going to be a fun pay-per-view actually going through this. I think this might surprise a lot of people and be a fun pay-per-view. Forbidden Door for me is always fun because I love seeing the other contingents from like New Japan come in, and now you have Persephone from CMLL. I've never seen her work, so I'm very interested in seeing how she does. So I actually like this Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I'm not a big fan of the lights out steel cage, but not everything's going to be a hit, Yeah,
you can have one exception, but
exactly. So there goes our predictions for AEW Forbidden Door happening this Sunday. At least this pay-per-view is in the afternoon. If you're in the States on the East Coast, this pay-per-view is starting at 1 p.m. I believe that's when the main card starts. I believe the pre-show is going to be starting a couple hours beforehand, and there are going to be a couple matches on the pre-show. We won't be covering them on the podcast, but they'll be there for your enjoyment if you want to check them out. Again, the main show is going to be starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so at least it's an afternoon pay-per-view. Even if it runs late, it's not going to go crazy into the midnight hour.
Thank God, because some of us still have to work.
Yeah, some of us still, well, not me, but Shay. I always look out for Shay. She has to go to work, so I feel her pain for sure.
Yeah, the suffering.
Well, guys, there's our predictions. Now, let me let you know where you can listen to this podcast if you just so randomly stumbled upon a clip or something like that of the podcast and you're like, hey, I want to know where I can listen to more of the Ringside Rundown. Check this out. You can find this podcast on all podcast platforms. All you have to do is just search Ringside Rundown, hit the follow or subscribe button, whatever the platform asks of you, and you will never miss an episode. We drop an episode every Wednesday morning, every week for you to listen to. It's available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio. Again, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find it. And all you have to do is just search Ringside Rundown. If you so happen to have a platform that you don't find the Ringside Rundown on and you want us to get on there, all you have to do is hit us up in the DMs, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Ringside Rundown. Hit us up in the DMs. Let us know what platform you use. We will get you a link to that platform on a silver platter, but you have to give us back the silver platter because it belongs to Shay's mom, and she is an OG member of the Hurt Syndicate, and she is the one who coined the term "we hurt people." She's a bad mamma jamma. She's crazy. Yeah. She's crazy with that karate chop. So you don't want to get her mad. Make sure you give her back the silver platter, or else Shay's gonna catch an earful too on top of that.
Yeah, I'll get a karate chop in the neck and I'll be out for about 5 hours.
See, we don't want to do that to Shay. We don't want to do that to Shay. So make sure you get us back that silver platter. Like I said, we're available on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Ringside Rundown. We also have short form content on TikTok at ringside_rundown. Now, here's the cool thing about what we do at the Ringside Rundown. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, I am live at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Collision. So please come check me out on Twitch. I do watch-alongs on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m. Twitch.tv/Ringside Rundown. It's a great time. We watch wrestling. We make jokes. Mike causes a lot of disturbances and makes people mad. It's a good time. It's a great time there. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on my wrestling Twitter at @ShayRingside_, just like Eric's, but with my name instead. That is where I dump all my wrestling thoughts and feelings for the most part. So give it a follow.
Definitely for sure. Next week we will have our recap of AEW Forbidden Door with our thoughts and our match ratings and what we thought of the show and all of that stuff. So look forward to that on the next episode. Hey, real quick before we get out here, how about a quick congratulations to Naomi and Jimmy Uso on the upcoming birth of their baby. They announced it. Unfortunately, Naomi had to relinquish the women's championship, but I feel like this is great news. This is celebratory, and what a way did she provide us with a glorious exit by telling Adam Pearce, I'm not handing you shit. Like, that was really fantastic. I love Naomi. She's one of the best. I'm sad that she's going away because everything she was doing was so fantastic. It was amazing. Everything she's been doing is great. So it's sad that she's going to be going away for a while, but it's a joyous occasion. It's a good reason. Yeah, she's gonna be a mom, and like she says, the bloodline continues. The blood there's no end in sight. There's no end in sight for the bloodline.
No, it was just funny how she was still that unhinged Naomi even to the end. Even when you could tell like she kind of wanted to just completely break character, but she cut some zingers in there at the end. That was a good time. But yeah, congrats to them both. They're definitely deserving of it. So it's gonna suck not seeing her there, but for good reason.
Yeah, for sure. I think what it is that finally she's comfortable in being herself, you know, and that's what it was. It's almost like one of those things like, damn, I wish I could have done this sooner because this would have taken off a lot sooner and everything would be great. But again, like you said, congratulations to Naomi. Congratulations to Big Jim. This is a joyous occasion. A lot of fun last night with the announcement. I kind of knew what it is, but you don't want to speculate something like that, just throwing it out there all willy-nilly. So I waited until they announced it. So I think it's pretty cool what's going on with Naomi and Big Jim.
Yeah, they kind of gave it away a little bit right before, where you don't just do that whole here's like a podcast they're gonna be on with Stephanie McMahon, and this is like a little. It's like, okay, come on, we know what they're doing. Like, that's stupid, but still good though.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, that is the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, check this out. Let all your friends and your wrestling family members know if they enjoy wrestling and if they enjoy wrestling podcasts to check out the Ringside Rundown all across the board on all podcast platforms. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Ringside Rundown. For Shay Hickson, my name is Erik Vasquez. Thank you for listening. Check you out later, guys.
See you later, guys.